What's up, investors? Boom. Wanted to make today's video for you, but I thought this would be important, and I got a group going right now. We did some real estate training, and a lot of the questions I get, whether it was from real estate investors or just regular salespeople, real estate entrepreneurs, people in the sales industry, whether they're wholesalers, whether they're rehabbers, flippers, people who work on ugly houses, apartment complex players, whatever it is. We usually go into a conversation that's pretty simple, and sometimes it all boils down to negotiation. Everybody says rebuttals and objections and all this other shit. But in my game, I always picture it as a negotiation because everything's negotiable, right? And you get what you keep what you kill. Like if you don't ask for it, you won't get it. So I want you to picture it like this. I'll use my shirt because on this video you can see my shirt. Here's the surface. And you guys have seen this before, but I wanted to do it again because this is my video. Get it? So this is going to help you. Think about this. When you are negotiating, having a conversation with a seller, whether it's a property owner, whether it's an agent talking to a seller or a buyer, whatever the case may be, think about it from this perspective. There's the surface of what you see. Like on my shirt right now video, I kind of cut off the half. But then the bottom of my shirt says, just so happens to say motives, right? Because everybody has their own reason for doing what they do. And our job as real estate entrepreneurs, real estate investors, whatever it is, the game that you play in this industry, our job is to ask enough questions and to talk to the right people enough to where we can understand what their motives are. What do they really want? It isn't always money. Sometimes they've got medical bills they need to pay off and they just need to be renegotiated. Maybe they need to move and get rid of the property that they're in. Maybe they've owned their property forever. Like I say, let's say it's an apartment building. You got 50% occupancy. They're older. They don't want to deal with it anymore. And the money that they're making is still positive cash flow for them, but they don't have the money to fix up the other stuff. And they're like, dude, you know what? We can't do it. We don't want it. We'll just sell this thing. But it's not bankable. It's not a bankable project. Bankable meaning like the banks won't lend on it because it doesn't meet a criteria, right? Occupancy. So what do? You ask questions. And you can't ask questions if you're asking some broker who's just trying to list it if you're a real estate investor like me. I like to talk to the seller because I want to know what their motives are, right? And in negotiation, I always say the same thing. If I can explain my offer better than somebody else can, it's my responsibility to make sure that I either am talking to a seller, I've got that seller to call me, or I've got the opportunity to talk to that seller, right? And I need everybody on my team to know what that is. So if you aren't getting to the bottom level of what you're there for as a real estate investor, real estate entrepreneur, agent, whatever it is you do, then you aren't going to get the best deal, man. Right? Our job is to be able to negotiate the hell out of a good fucking deal. And I want you to picture it that way. Every time. There's always the surface level of stuff, and then there's the bottom. There's the motives, right? If this was a shark fin coming out of the ocean and you were swimming past it, you can see that fin, but you don't always know how big a shark is underneath the water, right? It could be a 10-footer, it could be a 6-footer, it could be a 3-foot baby. Whatever the case may be, it could be a 40-foot whale shark. Your job is to understand what's below the surface. And you can't do that if you don't do one out of two things. One, talk to the seller. That means you need to be marketing, right? You need to be out there hustling, marketing, getting your phone to ring, getting your email box full, getting your agents to call you, or if you're an agent, getting sellers and buyers to call you because they're your prospects, right? And then next, you need to ask questions. What's your reason for selling? Why do you want to sell this? It looks like a great deal. What's going on in your life, man? What is it that I can bring to the table that can make this transaction work and make it easier, right? And listen to what they really say. If you do that, your negotiations are easier. Now, I say this because I know in some of the real estate trainings that we got, like our Big Money for Pretty House business program, our program that's coming up, which is the Apartment Assassin program. It's a 60-day program, how to buy properties. And I talk fast as hell on this one because I love this shit. But, man, that we spend so much time doing practice negotiation, role play. I'm the seller, you're the buyer. I'm the contractor, you're the owner. Like, I'm the agent trying to get this listing for a property and you can't list it with me. What do I do? You got to know that, and like 9 times out of 10, if you aren't talking to a seller, and the time you do talk to a seller or a buyer or a contractor, all this stuff, and your negotiation is this piece, the top, you will overpay, right? If you don't get the opportunity to have the conversation that leads to some negotiation. So that, my friend, if you're really trying to figure out how do you get the right deals, creative deals, make the most money on your deals, if you don't understand how to negotiate your deals, because you're not talking to the right person, meaning talking to the seller and trying to solve a problem for this person, you will overpay, period. There's always some place where you can probably get your profit margin up a little higher. Because as investors, people in the real estate game, our job is to go off and make money by doing deals, solving people's problems and making sure that our mindset is set, that is our moral obligation to make sure that we do the right thing in this business. Because shit, man, it is what it is. Our industry had a shitty rap back in the day, man, and it's time for us, the young bloods, the young swinging people in this community now, in this modern game, to be able to change that and do the right thing. So, negotiate. Remember, don't just look at what's on the surface. Take a look at the motives below them, and that's what negotiation is about. Can't do that if you aren't marketing, getting your phone to ring. If you aren't marketing and talking to the seller or the buyer and being able to ask the questions and find out what is it that they're really doing, what is it that they're really needing, so that way you can figure out how to solve that and be able to do more deals, make more money, and build your legacy. All right, man, let's get this done.